What's up, Chris? Really?
What's up, Cooper?
How you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Sound pretty good?
I mean...
Could be better.
Yeah, it could be better.
Yeah, so welcome to the podcast, guys. I'm Cooper.
I'm Christian.
And this is The Real
Deal
Podcast. If you're a new listener...
We started getting good at that, dude.
Dude, that should be our thing. We just did that first time. But that's pretty cool.
We definitely didn't re-record.
No, I mean, we do it normally on an ender, but that being the first one is pretty nice. But yeah, if you're new, welcome. If you're not new...
Get out of here. We don't want you.
Yeah, come back next time.
Yeah.
No, but hope you guys are doing pretty well.
Took a little
right
hiatus, like we usually do.
I feel like that's just the beginning of everything. We just like our names, hiatus.
Yeah, hey
hiatus.
guys.
No, we're doing pretty okay for ourselves.
Yeah, we're doing.
I mean, yeah, obviously we should do a little better. But guess what? This one feels different because it's not a hiatus
episode where we're talking about us going on a hiatus.
No, I'm saying this is a different hiatus because we're not going hiatus BoJack. We're doing hiatus Sweet Tooth.
Oh my goodness! Maybe I'll make a cool intro for the video like they do in Sweet Tooth.
What do you mean?
Like you know the really cool for the second season, like all the title screens for Sweet Tooth.
I skipped it.
What? That was like my favorite part.
I'm not the biggest fan of
Sweet Tooth.
Just of Netflix.
Spoiler.
No, I'm not a big fan of like the Netflix intros. I'll watch it once. After season 1, I was like, skip.
I cannot believe you. They were all different and unique.
The only 3 shows I've ever stayed through the intros are Peacemaker.
Peacemaker's fire. That's
Game
good.
of Thrones.
You suck.
And Breaking Bad because it's super short.
Yeah,
just the letters. That's all it is. I could say we could do a Breaking Bad episode, but we might never get to that.
If we do a Breaking Bad episode, it's gonna have to be like Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad at the same time.
And El Camino.
Oh, and El Camino, yeah.
Yeah, best.
I would love to do keeping it short over El Camino, actually.
So we do like maybe like an episode discussion. I think we like BoJack talking about the thing, but I feel like we could definitely do like an overview.
I'm very tempted to do an overview, and then we do a keeping it short over over the last episode of BoJack. I'd be cool with doing that. Because season 4 through 6, I mean, they do matter.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like that's just us quitting. I don't want to be a quitter, man. I want to stick it through, and then we can just tell ourselves, let's stay committed to do just more stuff. But like, if it's a show, we can do like maybe an episode on the pilot, and then an overview of like the show, and then a thing on the finale.
Oh, for sure.
That could be we just try it out because I mean we have so many episodes we can just flip it around. But getting into our episode, I didn't know I knew what Sweet Tooth was, but only because like it kind of got like some noise in 2019. Yeah,
it became really popular there for a second, then immediately fell off the face of the planet. Like it like got a little bit of traction, and then nobody talked about it ever again.
Well, I think because it was like super cool and different, and it's technically a DC brand, like Superman, Batman. It's under the DC like production.
Is it?
Yes, it's a DC like studio.
So
thing.
Batman exists within Sweet Tooth.
Well, if you know the show, probably not.
I don't know. He could be Vengeance.
Bruce Wayne's wiggling his pinky right now. But no, the show looks pretty cool. It got brought up again to me because you said it was really good. I hadn't seen any of the seasons yet. Yeah. And then the kid who starred in it, he was in
Cocaine
Bear, the funny show, the movie we watched. And
if you haven't seen our episode over Cocaine Bear, go watch it.
Yeah, it was really cool. And and I guess we were just kind of like, season 2 was like, they dropped a trailer on it, and we were like, let's go watch it. So we spent basically the hiatus, giving ourselves some credit.
Yeah, watching.
We were working while we were not working.
Yeah, sure, working.
Fine, this is like the last.
Oh, to be fair, I got a list and stuff set together, and I've watched most of it.
Are you imitating me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, I do have a list, so thank you.
My favorite person is who I'm imitating.
I'm going to imitate God, so... No, I'm not going to do that.
Whoa.
I was going to say...
Sounds like you're going to a place... Down to the burning ring of fire.
I love that song.
That's where you're going.
No, I'm a good guy. No, I was going to say I've been impersonating he's my best friend, but that's messed up.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so I guess we just jump into it. What did you I guess overall, what did you think of the first season? We'll just jump in the first season. Easy.
I love the first season. It was pretty enthralling, and when I watched it, I actually did binge it. And it was a very, very good, solid first season for a TV show. I like the idea of the hybrids a lot, and I like the idea of the virus, like just killing everybody, but the hybrids being the solution to keep a part of mankind alive, I guess is what you describe it as.
Would you say as like, oh, okay. First thing I was like, what are you talking about? Because I thought they were the cause. The fact that their DNA has some sort of like antibody that can help. That's why they're hunting the hybrids.
Yes.
Also because they hate them. Because it is speculated.
They do hate him.
Did they think that the hybrids are causing it, but it's not.
It's not the hybrids at all. It's actually.
Hold on. We'll talk about it at the
end. The season 2.
Can we talk about season 2 for like at the end? Fair. Let's not jump into spoilers, but yeah, I mean that's cool. Like, who's your favorite character of season 1? Would you say?
Big Man.
Jeb.
Big Man.
Big Man.
I like Big Man a lot. I like
Bear.
Bear's pretty cool. I didn't like her as much in the first season.
I like
Their hangout was cool. But she was cool, but I like her a lot better in the second season.
I like Dr. Adia.
Yeah, I also with him, I like him a lot better the second season. The first season around, they just established the characters.
I like him too in the second season, especially when they do like a flashback of him. But there was a bit, at least for like one episode or like 1 or 2 episodes, it felt a little wonky for me. But he was also acting.
Yeah.
Serious because he has all these stakes happening to him.
Well, you got to remember he also he didn't sleep but a couple hours.
Also, like the very finale where he was like
playing sleep deprived
with his work, like that was.
I'm interested.
Season 3.
I'm interested to see why he survived that one thing, which we'll get into.
They did show it.
They didn't show the reason though.
The glass broke. And so the air went out.
Oh, okay.
It's not anything special.
Oh, I thought it was like.
But he's not under.
Yeah.
I don't think he's under. Like he got away from the people.
He did get away from them. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess we'll just jump into the show now since we're talking about details.
So season 1 we detail. The first 2 or 3 episodes are with Papa and.
First episode.
Oh, is it just the first episode?
Just the first episode.
The first episode is with Papa and.
Can we first talk about the narrator? Great.
Yeah, great job. Work for this podcast.
I always thought the narrator was going to be like Gus, and it's not, I don't think. I think it's just
like Gus from Breaking Bad?
Gustavo Fring? Nah, I thought it was Gus as in like...
Pupulos or hermanos.
Like Sweet Tooth, but I don't think it is. I think it's just
This is a story about Sweet Tooth.
if you have a complaint. No. But yeah, I
you are simply bad product.
No, that's not Gus. That's Stan Edgar from The Boys.
Oh, you're right. Same dude.
Same actor.
Same dude. It's a different smell.
I'll say like a Mandalorian line.
Baby Yoda.
Something.
All right, so the first season. So the second episode, literally like the first episode, we meet his dad. We get a couple bombshells about the universe and how it works, and then boom, his dad's dead.
Yeah, but like I like how they did it. It wasn't like he got murdered. He just aged. He like, oh yeah. By the way, I guess spoiler talk. We're talking about the seasons, so. But yeah, no. So his dad.
Whoa, he died on the first episode. If you haven't seen the first episode and you're watching this,
it was a great transition though. The scene where it's like his dad in the chair, and then when it like panned around, it's like a stick man.
Yeah.
You're thinking like that's his dad, like being super old. I thought it was a corpse when I first saw it. I thought it was like a corpse.
Dude, I thought so too.
And I was thinking that'd be really messed up.
Yeah.
He didn't bury his dad. He's like
he's just keeping him there.
Ill, but no, he did.
He smells good.
He just has an active imagination. Yeah.
I found it really interesting that like I think the show itself is shot really well. But the second season, I think, is shot way better than the first season.
Oh, no, most definitely.
But the first season has some really pretty, like, yellows and blues. And the nature vibe for the show is super amped up, which I love.
Oh, I always love post-apocalyptic, like, vibes.
Yeah, where everything's grown over. But they have this nice little cottage out at Yellowstone. And his dad's like, don't go near the fence or you'll die.
Yeah, he doesn't tell him about any like Batman or the virus. He just teaches him about like this is the only home you know, and also like Sweet Tooth doesn't know about his mother. He thinks his mother is a deer.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, your mother's gone.
But it would make more sense if my mom was a... Wait a minute, Dad. Did you...
Your genetic experiment.
I did not sleep with a deer.
My name
You're
is
from
not
a
Papa.
lab.
It's Robert.
You are like Papa.
Richard.
But this first episode establishes our character Sweet Tooth, and it establishes that he knows very, very little about the world.
Yeah.
I find it interesting that they went the route of making him a deer. Of all animals they could have chosen.
Maybe because it's like a deer in headlights. They're very
frail,
innocent creatures, but are also very simple.
He's very curious, and deers are pretty curious. He's also skittish, starting off whenever he goes out into this big world. But he's like, it like literally fills him with wonder.
Yeah.
Which I find very, very interesting. And the episode 2, we get introduced to Big Man, right?
It's the ending of episode 1 because there's a hunter who's gonna like eat him, or something, or sell him, because that's a big thing in the thing about selling hybrids.
They sell hybrids.
But no, he saves him only on the account of just like. I mean, we find out later that it's like he had a kid who was a hybrid, and it kind of like.
And he was he's a former football player.
He's a former in the universe he was like the former like MVP like linebacker.
And his knee went bad, right? He hurt his knee.
His knee went bad, and so he had to stop playing, and then the whole.
That's important,
like,
listeners.
Thing went down with like his family, and he's trying to find his family, but he becomes something called a first man.
It's a last man.
Oh, is it the Last Man?
Yeah, it's Last Man. The Last Man.
I was thinking of X-Men for a second.
Man, did you even watch this show, man?
I watched it on hiatus.
He actually got the nickname
Skull Crusher.
The Hybrid Catcher.
Oh, his name in the football was
Football was a Skull Crusher, but whenever he becomes the Last Man,
a lot of hybrids, yeah.
Yeah, he actually caught like the most hybrids, and the only reason he was doing it was so he could try to find his family again.
He was kind of like blackmailed,
and he didn't know who his family was. Like he didn't know where they're from. He doesn't know where they're at. He doesn't understand where they went. They just kind of disappeared. And the Last Man said that they did know where they were, or they'd at least find them for him. And that was super tossed up in the air.
A big drive for like his character, because also he's protective of Gus because he sees him as we go along the line. He sees him as like a son, as a kid he never had, who's a hybrid, but also
he's beautiful.
He's trying to just redeem himself for the things he's done.
They did a really good job with Gus's makeup.
Oh yeah, it looks like
he also like Gus himself. He's a pretty cute kid. Like they did a very good. That's a great casting.
Take that back.
Why?
You're a 21-year-old man. You need to be careful.
He's a cute.
Yeah, the audience says, "What do you mean
child.
by that?"
I mean that he is a sweet young lad with long golden hair.
So anyway, we move on, and yes, they become this duo of very.
We have a small, fast, very light on his feet kind of person with this like big brawler.
Who's also like very sarcastic, because when they first meet, he's like, "Don't touch my food, da 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 da. Like you can't.
Yeah.
Don't eat my stash. Like all this stuff." And then so like episode 2, they get to just kind of like grow in their stuff, and then also they go and meet this family that's like who run like this outdoor shop. Like it's also they run the monorail.
It's not an outdoor. It's their neighbors. It's a ski resort or something, or it's like a lodging resort.
It's a lodging thing or something like. But
it's definitely not a house. I don't think.
No, it's like a store. It's like a resort thing, but they take like a monorail to get there. And they meet these people, and
that
everyone
becomes
like,
important in season 2.
It is. Everyone can kind of important.
It's important.
They can tell them from the first, like with Big Man, you see him, you're like, oh, this guy's just like apocalypse, like brought in like man, like you get why he's like super tough. But normal human beings who are just like a family are terrified of Gus, and they also are terrified that he can speak, because most hybrids can't speak.
Well, I found it very interesting because. In season 2, it illuminates a bit more that most of the hybrids can not speak, but they can at least communicate.
I think it's because how exposed they are to humans. Because like the alligator person.
Peter wasn't.
Peter couldn't speak.
Peter said his name.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he said he said, "What's your name?" And he said, "Peter."
Oh, I kind of like. skip through a little bit.
Awful. But that alligator dude, yeah, he says his name, and it was like totally.
Yeah,
removed.
I think maybe it's just
they explained that some hybrids have the ability to. Other hybrids literally don't have vocal cords
because they're like based on what kind of like animal they are.
Yeah. So like if you're like the bird chick, she doesn't have vocal cords.
That's why they sign, or they have to squawk. Yeah,
she can mimic people though, which I found really interesting because birds can do the same thing.
Was that her or was that the monkey person?
That was her.
Okay.
Yes. I find that it was pretty interesting, but we move on from these this hybrid duo, and we kind of start building this relationship and this rapport with Big Man. And what episode is it that the Animal Army gets introduced?
3 or 4. And so in that, we'll talk about the side plot as well, but in that we meet Bear, which is the Animal Army is like another faction of post-apocalyptic groups. So you have the Last Man,
who want to exterminate hybrids, and then the Animal Army wants to save them.
They dress up as animals because of their love for hybrids.
They're all teenagers.
All like teenage. They're like probably like 13 at your youngest, and then like 20.
They're going to be really important in season 3.
Sure,
they're going to be really important.
They're going to be very important. The ones that are left.
The one that's left.
The one that's left.
Anyways.
Yeah, so they meet them, and Bear is this great. Again, first season for me, I think is better because the characters, I think they are fleshed out really well. Like Bear, honestly, can be my favorite.
I think that the season 2 expounded on these amazing characters that they made.
Oh, they do, because like I mean, they also like had a terrible task or an impossible task of treating characters separated. Because together they're strong, and
it was really interesting. Yeah, separating up the dream team really that they ended up making,
and they were fine. Like they did their own things, and it would work.
Yeah, Bear gets betrayed by her best friend since actually just Tiger.
Is it just Tiger?
It's just Tiger. Yeah.
Oh, lame.
They're only named. There's Rhino, Tiger, Pony, Bear.
Just after the thing.
Just straight up animals. Yeah. But she has been our friend since before the Great Crumble, which is when the society went down.
They talk about later, because
she was there with her day one, first member of the Animal Army.
Yeah, and it also gets fleshed out in season 1 and season 2. A bear, forgot her real name. I think it's like Judy.
No, it's
Wendy. No, that's the name.
That's her sister's name. Bear's name starts with a B.
Betsy.
I think so.
I think so. You can Google it. But yeah, so they're friends. It talks about Bear also why she loves hybrids so much is because her sister was a hybrid who was taken away.
And she doesn't know where she went.
At very young. So she was thinking she either is dead or missing. She didn't know, but she knows that she'll find her one day. But yeah, she gets betrayed. We get to meet these characters. It's really fun. She also gets to just like tell Gus about the world.
Becky.
That sounds, yeah.
The actress's name is Rebecca Walker. Really, really good job, Rebecca, if you're watching this. Which you're not, but you know.
I mean, hey, if you ever do.
We'd love to have you on. Yeah, that'd be fire. No, she did a fantastic job, actually. She made a really cool addition to the team because Big Man was our bruiser. Our light, like on his feet, was Sweet Tooth, and then our more ranged, savage fighter was Bear.
She's also like, she's two things. She's great dynamics in teaching Sweet Tooth like about the world, but she also like has this bit of a
feminine energy that she brings.
She's a very strong feminine character. She's like.
Oh yeah, I think she's
She's not showing. She's not
accurate representation in media.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
She was a huge landmark that people didn't really jump on. She was a very, very strong, prominent character, and she's original. She was a completely original character, and I find that really interesting.
It's also because she didn't tell you she was strong, or you had to like power down the other guys. She just was strong because that's who she is.
I'm glad that they didn't do the whole like I'm a woman and you think I can't do things because I'm a woman. Like also she is Cuban. So she is not a white woman. Representation. But she's a great addition to the cast, and she is a very strong character. And I'm shocked that people didn't end up jumping on that bandwagon. She deserved it. Out of every character that's come out where they've like either hated them off stage or they've...
Well, I don't know if has she done anything since?
I don't think she has.
Super mainstream, because, I mean, the other kid, he didn't really do... The other kid has been known for... Who plays Sweet Tooth.
I was shocked that he was in Cocaine Bear.
Well, that's the biggest movie he's done. He's also been in, like, Paw Patrol, more kid movies. Like, he started his career in 2016. So he was, like...
I'm shocked, though, because, like, in Cocaine Bear, he looks a lot younger than he does in Sweet Tooth.
Again, they could have filmed it during COVID time.
They probably did.
And the other guy, I know him really well from the Pan movie, because he plays the quartermaster of Blackbird. Big Man, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's where I know him.
I didn't know him from anything before this.
Really?
Yeah.
I saw him and I was like, oh, it's the guy from Pan. I love that guy. And then, you know, his character, I'm probably going to know him as the guy from Sweet Tooth because he's really good.
Man.
But I think I want to talk about the side plot, the B plot. Mm-hmm. Not really a side plot. It's important about the doctor because he is this doctor.
Brilliant doctor from the Before Four.
He was like a surgeon, right?
Yeah, he was a surgeon. I am a surgeon.
Sorry.
I find it really interesting that he is one of the most valuable people you can have. Like, him alone has so much trading power in any society because doctors are scarce.
Yeah. So because they're going into the line of fire of sick people and helping them.
And his wife actually has the sick, and that's
so tension building.
Yes, so good. They have to get this quote unquote secret sauce, which we find out later is hybrid bone marrow.
Does he know? Like, I think he knows.
He doesn't know originally. I don't think.
Okay.
He didn't know because
he was following somebody else. I think in the community. He worked at like this shop in the first community they were at.
He was in a burger store, right? And that's
a burger store, and there was a doctor above him. He was like the second in command, and then he found out because the other one like got sick and died, I think.
Also the sickness. Just to throw this out there, the sickness is a pandemic that hit, which is crazy that this came out before COVID.
Yeah. Now you can. I mean, they gave him a great way of doing it in season 2, where they have like masks.
Oh yeah.
They could help them just film. Yeah.
The sickness, or it's called the sick in the show. The main symptom of it is that your pinky shake, and that's the main indicator. Yeah, it twitches uncontrollably. But it's very interesting that's a really cool way to connect humans, because anytime you greet somebody, they say put up your fingers.
Yeah, they'd be like pinkies, and they have to like examine it.
It's pretty cool.
Also, they get dark with it because like these people had like the twitch, and at the community where the doctor was with his wife, like they're scared that they're gonna get found out. Somebody else has it. They wrap them in like duct tape and arson their house. They kill
burn
these
their house
people.
Down. It's to keep the community safe.
Yeah, that was scary because you're worried about that. I would do that. But yeah, that whole storyline is good because like in the first season, I didn't like his wife.
You didn't like his wife?
Because she was, I get she was desperate and she was written really well. I'm saying as like I think she was.
I thought she had a very good character arc.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think she had a great arc. I'm just saying, it's like Skylar White in Breaking Bad.
Skylar White.
She's written well, but you don't like her because in the beginning she was like, I really need this like drug thing. I really need this to save my life, and she's like putting a lot of pressure on him, and then she's also kind of nice. But then she can go desperate really fast.
It's just interesting that like.
But then she kind of like.
She kind of had a. Thinking about it, like, because I didn't rewatch the first season. Thinking about it now, though, she did have kind of a 180. Like whenever she found out it was like sentient.
When she found out that it came from like living kids, she flipped it because I mean, who wouldn't? Like if I knew that if I had cancer and I realized the cure to cancer was like a kid. I would.
Well, if it's a kid that looks like a porcupine.
I don't care. It's a kid. It's a living human being.
No. It's a living hybrid human being.
If it was a porcupine, sure. I mean, that's exceptional. But it's a human being child because it comes from a human mother. Uh-huh. You just mixed it with a gene because of the virus.
You think that porcupine kid's mom loved him whenever he came out?
No.
I didn't think so either. Let's blend them up and turn them into cancer cure.
People were scared. Yeah, that sucks though.
I'm talking about him ripping and tearing his way out, dog.
Oh, you mean like?
Yeah, I mean you gotta think.
Sections?
I don't. Think
porcupine kid.
Yeah.
Oh, the one from the.
Oh no! When they're born, their quills are soft, aren't they?
I don't know about porcupine.
I'm pretty sure they are.
Probably.
Somebody fact check me,
guys. Fact check. Porcupine, baby soft. Well, while we wait for that, we have a research team with us today. No.
Yes.
But I guess just moving on, it's a great subplot that I didn't feel like just. Sometimes on a show I might skip through the subplot because it just seems boring.
I didn't think they were going to be that important, honestly.
You thought they were kind of? I thought they were going to get killed off. Honestly,
I thought they were just more human. Like, it's somebody for me to relate to as a human. Because, like, Big Man you can relate to, but you can't relate to Bear or Gus very much. Like, as an actual person, you can't be like, oh, my God, that would be so me, because you're not a hybrid.
I didn't grow up with a father who kept me secluded from the world.
You're not somebody who's sympathetic towards the thing that is apparently ending your human race. Oh, I was right. They're born with soft...
Thank you, Mr. Gilbert. Thank you, Mr. Gilbert.
Oh, very nice. So his mom was fine, probably.
But
some moms aren't so fine. Like Peter's mom, egg.
I can't
relate to a woman who's like, because at this point we think that the sick comes from the hybrids.
So that's what it's just propaganda does.
Yeah, but we're in on it because they promote that in the thing.
We're in on it because we're the audience. But
but the idea that, like, I don't know, if I thought that things are killing a bunch of people en masse, 98% of the population, I don't think I could be sympathetic towards them. I wouldn't go out of my way to kill them like Big Man would.
Like the Last Man. Yeah. But like as a human being, I would be very frightful.
But the doctor and his wife, I could definitely see myself being in that situation.
For him, it's like he kind of has to because he has to save the other 2% of the world.
I think that's how they wanted us to relate to them, and that's why they made them the B plot. We love Gus and whatnot, but we can't directly relate to him. He's also so naive to the world, and he's so wide-eyed and like starry-eyed that just like as an adult, at least, I can't relate to him in that way. I just can't do it, and that I think that's why they added in, especially in season 2. All the way more human stuff than like hybrid stuff.
I think it's also good because like as an
both.
I just say an adult. Mm-hmm. As a young adult, I don't really, as much as watching like a show about a kid, it's very adult for itself. And adding these characters like the general and
the general's very cool.
Oh, I guess we should. It's also in the season. It feels like it's not. We also have another thing. I guess we're just jumping to the episodes with Amy and Wendy, which is a zookeeper who's a therapist. This comes in like episode like 5 and 6. So it's like very like.
I didn't know that was that early. I thought it happened more towards the end. Oh, that's right. I thought it happened on 7 and 8 though.
No, it happens in. I saw the picture. It happened in like 5 and 6. Like they drop it in 5 and it happens in 6.
So they have, which by the way, the idea. Before any of this. The scene where they go through the field of flowers, which there's a flower type. Those happened. Those purple flowers started popping up after the hybrids, right?
Yeah, it was like hallucinogen stuff.
It makes the hybrids hallucinate, but it kills human. Like it's super deadly to humans.
Because in the second scene they have like a gas bombing.
That scene where
his dad.
Yeah, where they're going through the field. Even it's just so pretty. That was such a good made, so well made, just so good.
It's such a well made show.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't understand why it's not getting a lot more mainstream appeal.
Well, it's the thing about Netflix. Netflix makes these great shows. For a second, I thought it got canceled, but it makes these. I thought so too. They make these great shows that, if they don't get as much traction as you think they will, it got enough traction to get a second season. Good for it. But if it was just any less popular, it would have been canceled off the bat. And there's so many good shows on Netflix that get canceled.
Yeah, think
like
after one Job. Think. I know there's more.
There's a show I watched. It's like a Carrie ripoff. It's called like, I'm Not That Into You or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe that's what it's called. But yeah, it's like, the girl from It, and the guy from It. It's like a ripoff of Carrie, but it's like actually super interesting and cool. But it only got one season, and it left it on such a cliffhanger.
Really cool and interesting, he says.
So go watch it so you can get disappointed that it got canceled.
Go watch Inside Job if you want to get disappointed.
But yeah, I guess. Again, the flower scene is really great. It also talks about like what the flowers are, and it's a kind of a bit of not crazy importance, but like it helps them in the second season find out where stuff is. But as we move on, you talked about Amy and Wendy.
Yeah, so I thought it was really, really smart for them to make their living place a zoo, but they kind of reclaim the zoo for the kids. Like they have them decorate all the walls and stuff. This is important. They have them decorate all the walls and stuff and make it like an actual really nice home. And I find it really cool that they made the hybrids, like the sanctuary for hybrids, a zoo where usually
kids are normally locked. Like animals are locked.
Kids are normally locked up.
Let's stay there.
I think
play jail.
I think it was a really smart idea to have it take place there. But Amy's a humanitarian. Basically, she just wants. Yeah, she wants to be the mom. She's literally called Mom. But she does whatever it takes for her hybrid kids. She has, 8, I think? 1, 2,
if you're gonna,
3,
there were
4,
twins. There was Bobby. There was Roy.
6,
Roy.
7, 8.
There was Wendy. There was at least 10.
10, 11. I think it was 11.
Around 10 or 11. There's a good
10 or
amount.
11, something like that. But she has all these amazing kids. And we get to see the range of hybrids. I found it really interesting because, like, the elephant kid is literally an elephant. Like, he's not, there's no beat around the bush. He doesn't look human. He's just a bipedal elephant.
He stands tall like an elephant, I guess.
Yeah. He literally just is an elephant,
He's
which
an
is pretty
elephant
cool.
kid. I think that's really, like, same like Bobby is just a gopher. He's not.
Yeah, Bobby's just a gopher. But, like, for the most part, like, the bird, chick, I don't know her name. But I know they go through all their names, but I can't be bothered.
When they first introduced him, I go, I'm not going to remember you. I'm going to remember Elephant Kid and
the
Bobby.
Kid's cool. But for the most part, like, these kids, this is the only place they can go. And Sweet Tooth goes there to just, I think it was just to meet her, right? He wanted to understand.
He was going to because he heard her on the radio, but also, he was in this whole thing. The big themes about Sweet Tooth are family and and finding about the world, because Sweet Tooth, his dad,
Fast and Furious,
told him about his mom, but he didn't tell her too much until she was gone. He thought she was dead, but she's alive.
Yeah,
and
she's a researcher.
She was one of the. She created him. He finds this out later.
Currently in Alaska.
I always thought it was Antarctica, but I think it's like they start in Alaska. I think
the global warming stuff is going on. It's there's a huge cold front going down, and it made Alaska basically.
But yeah, in it, Gus, in like the last episode or two, him and his crew, they go to this house where he thinks belonged to his mom, and throughout every episode, he kind of gets told a little bit more about the world or a little bit about his dad or his mom, and it just kind of like makes him hopeful. And then when he gets it, he finds out he doesn't have a dad or a mom. He's a science experiment.
He's a test tube baby.
He's a test tube baby.
Actually, more accurately, he's an egg baby.
He's an egg baby, and he's also the first baby. He kind of like was not the cause of all of it, because we didn't find out later it was a human problem, but it was sad because he felt betrayed, and so he left. He ran away, and he.
Now that we're 32 minutes in, the sick is caused by a separate egg that got incubated.
Yes, there were two working eggs.
They were trying to incubate antibodies into these eggs. Yeah, well, no, to make wasn't to make you immortal. It was so that people could age without disease.
Okay, make you
they
stronger.
wanted to stop all disease, basically.
Yeah.
And it almost worked. That's what Gus is. He's somebody who literally can't get any diseases. But the opposite of that, with every like good creation, there's a bad one, I guess, is what the paradox is.
The bad egg, good eggs and bad eggs.
Yeah, and the egg actually contained the sick, and it
a doctor who was very important on and also like
the CEO kind of the company.
Her family was also the man who discovered or went looking for this cure thing, and so she was
from this tribe in Alaska, and there was apparently these antibodies in the ice and stuff, and they were unlike any other culture. Lived to like 200 years old or something.
But yeah, so she takes the bad egg and she gets sick, and it's basically like being patient zero, and so she's like trying to hide herself away, but she definitely it just like caused this fluctuation. It's like it was like COVID times a million.
Yeah, it's like COVID times a billion. It kills 98% of the population.
Times 8 trillion, because it kills 98%.
Oh my god!
But yeah, it happens so fast. It also affects people and their children. Like it messed it up, and so that was crazy.
It myrtleized most of the population.
So it's scary. That's like the threat, and so but like, the big themes are like just danger and who can you trust. But even in like this war-torn world, there's still some people who like hybrids, like his mom.
Animal
Army and other stuff, but like his mom's friend, who they find at his mom's house, was like watching over her stuff all this time, waiting for him to show up.
In the season finale,
yeah,
we have the general storms the zoo, right?
the general. So we introduce him in the very end of the finale, or like in the end of the season. The refugee woman, she's had trouble run-ins with last men, but she's kept it very hidden about the zoo. And then someone picks her up on the radio, and it's this guy called General Abbott, and he's like this really kind of like goofy, but also very serious.
He's super cool. Like, I love his character.
I love it. He makes me think of Dr. Eggman because of his like head and his glasses.
Yeah. Except he has a beard.
Yeah. And he also he's very cool. He's a great character. He's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But he finds out, and he takes his whole army of last men and just storms it, captures the kids. Only the Amy can escape. And that kind of like pushes the setup for season 2.
And Gus is there whenever this goes.
Because Gus is on his way to meet her.
Yeah.
And he's also felt super neglectful about his mom because he found out he was a baby. So Jeb, the big man, he goes and comforts him. And just the final dialogue he gives him, it almost made me like tearful because of how sweet it was. And then he just
I love their relationship.
And then he gets shot, and I thought he died. I swear I thought he died.
I thought he did too. What I thought was going to happen is that they were going to end it there, and I was never going to get to see the rest. I thought they were going to cancel it. By the way, if you haven't already seen it, please go watch it. It will literally help get a season 3.
Yes, I think that's the big thing is that like if it doesn't get the numbers, it might not get a season 3. But it made the top 10 charts.
It did make the top 10 charts, so I'm pretty hopeful. But season 2, by the way, obviously spoilers here.
Just like wrap up where everyone is. The doctor and his wife, they get found out they're sick, and they're about to get killed by the community people.
Oh yeah,
and then the general saves them, but then he was going to execute them as well until they said, I can make a cure. So he grabs them, and then again the zoo gets taken. Bear was with the lady who was watching like his mom's stuff, and she actually contacts the mom. Like that's the last shot. And she's like in Alaska, so it's
super cool. There were so many cliffhangers, actually.
There's like 5 different plot lines that had to be explained in the next film, which the second season doesn't do really well about the mom, but it's okay.
I think they're setting her up for. I think she's the main focus for the season 3.
That's fine because
so they like sprinkle her in.
Sprinkle in just so you can like still feel a little attached.
You remember that his mom was somewhere.
Yeah, not you just go, oh, he had a mom.
Yeah.
But yeah, so season 2, jump into it.
Very good. The kids are locked up. They're eating dog kibble.
Jail guy is like, it's time to eat freaks.
Yeah, which is very interesting. They condition you as an audience member to remember his voice because they have him do that line so many times, and then the kids actually use it against him later, which is very, very cool. But they're locked up and they're devising a plan to get out. And
Gus is with them now because he gets captured by the audience.
Yes. Big Man is currently with Mom.
Yeah, Amy, because she rescues him because she...
From the plane where they use the radio. And he's been shot, obviously, so he's weaker than what he would usually be.
Yeah.
And then Bear is still on the phone with...
For like the first episode.
Yeah.
At the end of the first... They're establishing the plot lines, yeah.
She ends up actually finding out that the last men are going to definitely come track her down.
And she grabs a tape that... It's like a cassette tape that her mom recorded.
The mom's friend dies.
I'm glad they didn't show it because I feel like
I know
she goes out torching people.
She was really cool.
She's cool.
And she sacrifices herself. Bear kills somebody.
Yeah. Oh, she's ferocious.
Dude, she kills all kinds of people.
Yeah.
But she ends up leaving and going on her way. Yeah, she takes a cassette tape.
His mom leaves for him.
Yes, and it's very, very cool because now we're getting some sort of plotline with his mom, but it really doesn't come up until like literally the last episode.
It just kind of like, I think it's a continuing theme where it's like just the smallest little inputs make you care, but also like...
I think it matters because we have to really focus on the fact that all of our characters are separated. So this really cool dream team that we had got separated in a very natural way. I think they did a very good job wedging the team.
It just happened, yeah. It's realistic.
It's just really cool. We see that the doctor and stuff get taken to the zoo.
And you start to work on Gus.
Yeah. And all that home stuff they did where they like put like we are people and stuff like that on the walls and like love is love or whatever. They power washed it all. They took it all down.
Like a big like flag of the journal. Dude, cool. I know being a last man is about
I'd be a last man.
Is about wrapping up kids and hybrids and stuff, but like the drip they had on, the gear,
dude,
like the general himself. If the general came to me and said, "Listen, I'm done capturing kids. I just want to create an army," I'd be like, "Sign me up."
Well, the general's got a very noble pursuit. He's an evil dude for sure.
But he's also got some morals because he takes care of his brother, Johnny.
He really does.
He takes care of him later on,
but. His brother also was a very good balance for the general, so it wasn't just this crazy dude. He had a family, and he presumably loved them. But it's very interesting that like these characters who were basically nobody before the crumble became warlords. Getting to see the rest of the warlords was really cool.
Have you ever seen Into the Badlands?
No.
It made me think about that because there are like different factions. There's like people on horses and like Zen people.
I love I like the hippie alien believers. I like the cowboy Asians, really fun. And then of course, the super militarized general and his stuff. And then what was the other dude's gimmick?
Which one? The blue one?
Yeah.
They were water powered. Like they controlled like the coast.
Oh, that's right.
And they
had
rode horses.
Fresh water and stuff.
Very, very, very cool. I thought this whole Warlord arc was going to be a lot bigger
than what it ended up being.
Because they
ended up just gunning down two
of them. But I think that was they were setting up the villain, Mrs. Zhang.
So she's got a big setup.
But the whole like thing about this season with the general is that he has to prove to them that they have a cure, and also to prove himself, because right now he's kind of looked down on by the other people. He's like, I'm worth a seat at the table, and you're gonna respect me.
They literally don't even show up for him, except for the water dude.
Just to be a messenger.
Yeah,
it's very interesting that they mistreat him pretty bad. Whenever really like they set him up as the big bad, but then he ends up being like a small fry in the world, technically.
Also,
like when it comes to warlords.
In the finale, his army's like actually kind of small.
Yeah, he didn't have a lot of people.
Well, I mean, they also got like bombed, and the animal army
got bombed, and the animal army ended up fighting. They had a lot of people dead.
Obviously, yeah, because you saw the finale thing. The animal army took some people, and also like the last man lost him. So like realistically, also, but they have like camps. They have camps where they train people, which is the plotline for
Very interesting. I don't know. It's just weird to me because it seems like they have a lot of people sometimes, and then other times they just don't.
I think what it was they were just probably like
a little inconsistent with their people.
A little inconsistent, but they also were like, we're wrapping up this guy's story after season 2. We want to focus on like this other villain, like because sometimes you just need a new.
You can't have a bunch of last men run around afterwards.
They can still be around, but they can be just like foot soldiers.
But Mama and Big Man end up trying to break them out. They get caught.
And so they have
to
leave.
Get found out rather.
They get found out, but then they drop a sign of. We didn't talk about it, but there's this thing called Dog. It's a stuffed animal that Gus has been playing with his whole life.
Yes,
and it shows cute. That it makes him also like. We'll talk about the plot lines differently, but there's also this season's there's not a lot going on per se in it. It's just like goes back to the same location, so that's better for us to talk about. But for Gus and them, they're in captivity, but he also gets to meet the hybrid kids, and he gets to be like this lead. Everyone gets to be like kind of a leader.
Yeah.
Or like at least be strong in themselves.
Wendy gets to, Gus does, Bear does.
Jeb. Well, honestly, Amy gets to be more of a boss of Jeb, but Jeb gets like closure and gets to control himself.
Yeah, and he gets to.
He also
try to talk about it. Amy's a really tragic character.
She's super sad.
She that made me cry.
Also, what happens? Like she finds out what happens to Roy.
Yeah.
One of the kids.
That was awful.
Because he gets experimented on, and also the kids didn't know that. That's why they didn't trust Gus, because he was the only one in this season. Gus is patient zero. They find this out because of a thing called Project Midnight Sun, which is the reason why he's like the first incubated baby. So the doctor keeps bringing him back and finding out more stuff, and they use the flowers and all that. But the other kids, they're expendable.
Yeah, they're all they can only be turned into secret sauce. But Gus, on the other hand,
mushing it up like McDonald's.
Yeah, dude. But Gus, he could change the world, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
And the doctor knows that. Mm-hmm. He knows that at the end of the season. And that seems to be his plot line, is trying to go get Gus, because he becomes obsessed, erratic, and obsessed with this.
It's also because of the general's fault, because he's threatening him and his wife, but also,
dude.
But in some way, he starts to become full of himself and starts to just believing that like he has.
He's
to.
He's a narcissist.
Because after like they could just escape, after the zoo gets bombed, he just goes back.
He's a great actor. Very good job.
I want to check out, if I ever see him in other work, I'm going to check it out.
Dude, I can't believe that his wife leaves him. That surprised me.
It did, but I think that was perfect.
Perfect, so good.
Smart.
It was good to see it happen because I didn't think it was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
She gave up, like, pretty much indefinite living.
They also, like, I don't know how soon, like, long they've been married. They were also probably, like, newlyweds. I think.
No, they weren't newlyweds.
No,
they started dating before the crumble, and then they got married before the crumble, and they stayed together for 9 years after the crumble.
Okay, so it was long. My bad. Yeah.
They for a while, but they end up like they have a deep love for each other and stuff. Mm-hmm. But he becomes erratic and crazy, and she can't. She consciously cannot do this anymore, and he just wants to save his wife. It's kind of like a Mr. Freeze type situation.
Yeah.
Except she does not want to be saved. She's like, I'd rather die in the next month and we'd be free.
Because she gets
happy.
to meet the kids, and so she feels
so awful.
Because before it was like I didn't know that what hybrids like it was in my cure. Now I know that they're using parts. Now I met a hybrid. I'd rather you just let me die. Like,
it's just so terrible.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful how tragic this person is, because she goes from wanting to survive and be this person who's
just wanting her husband to be okay.
Yeah, to just wanting to spend her last days with her husband. And then she leaves.
Do you think she's going to die off screen? Or do you think she'll come back?
I think she'll probably die off screen and he'll probably find her.
My thing is, I know she's being treated, so she's better, but like...
She's better for the next month.
With Amy, she like was gone instantly because she's sick.
Well, she hadn't taken any medicine.
She hadn't been, I think, but I don't think...
Speaking of, when she finds out that Roy is gone, she takes a little vial of him.
But then she knows it's the cure, but she was like, I'm not going to take this. This was my son, in a way. With him. I'm gonna die.
I wish that Roy was more important. I wish that he mattered more.
Because they just said, and Roy. I'm like, who's Roy?
I know, I was like, oh.
In the first season, we didn't see any other kids until they raided the zoo. And then they were like, and Roy.
It helps though, because like...
It wasn't like Peter, where Peter, we got to see him, and then we got to see the reveal.
It helps though with like, the world building, because like, other stuff goes on. He matters enough to her, but not enough to us, and that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter to the story.
I didn't care as much for Roy, but I care for that her
conviction.
Her conviction, that's fair. I get that.
Anyways, they end up through a pretty convoluted set of events. They hire some airplane people and they drop bombs.
I think they're called like the air warriors,
something like that. They are the only people with planes right now.
So they just drop like random objects.
Yeah, they do deliveries and stuff too.
Yeah.
They're mercenaries as well. The general absolutely poops all over them. He takes a couple RPGs and just destroys all their planes.
And then Bear joins the First Men just to find Gus.
Yes.
Like because she knows that he's been taken.
She becomes friends with another kid
who doesn't really want to be a First Man. His dad was, but like he
wants to be a First Man.
Oh yeah, he does, but like
because he wants to kill the Animal Army and the hybrids.
Because the Animal Army's killed his dad, and that's like such a good like hidden message. Not a hidden message, but like she has to keep quiet about it. She just doesn't tell him.
And I'm pretty sure they made her kill his dad. I'm pretty sure Bear kills him.
Most definitely, at least with
it was probably that dude because she has a flashback, and it's probably the dude that was about to kill Gus. That she like stabbed very viciously. I'm pretty sure she killed him.
She definitely either killed him or that somebody killed in her army.
Either way, it was somebody that she knows.
She's responsible for the death of his dad.
Yeah.
Which is fair because also his dad did something bad. But like in war, people die.
They end up catching Tiger because she was setting up like a trap for him.
And he was gonna kill her. Her friend was gonna kill her, and she. Well, the thing was, I like how they did it. She didn't forgive Tiger, and they talked about it, and she did later. But like, she didn't forgive her. She was like, "You're just my friend, and I won't let you die."
Yeah, you backstabbed me, and that's awful. But they end up actually patching it over pretty quick.
Patch it up, and she gets the army back.
That makes sense. They've been friends for 9 years.
Yeah, like I get the coup was important, but like also.
But like we're all.
If you're such good friends, you can get over any problem, even a coup.
Even a coup. I find it very interesting though because they did the entire thing very well. This finale.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is, I thought the finale was going to be when they first raid the zoo, but it was like a mid-season finale.
It was good. It was really good. But the doctor goes into the flower room and
to kill himself.
Yeah, to kill himself, and he actually ends up hallucinating, which was really cool. Getting to see a human do that. And when the animal army attack, they break the glass.
They break the mirror, and so like when he wakes up, he sees like just
the animal army gets massacred.
They throw their licks though. They get back.
They probably, I think they killed one.
Probably about half.
It looked like.
It looked probably about half. It was a brawl, but they were getting like they knew they were coming, and they ambushed the animal army. Because like Tigress is about to strike, and then the general's just sitting there like, "Hello," like just.
Hello. The general's a very good character.
He's so fun.
His brother, very good character as well.
Very compelling, yeah.
But they end up escaping with
to Yellowstone. They go back home.
Yellowstone, and we find out that Amy has the sick, and it was really sad because she was like, "I've got to tell my kids."
I do like though that everyone gets to spend some time with each other, where like she gets to build this relationship where she can trust. Because at first she hated the last man, same with everyone else, but she found out that Jeb is not that guy anymore, and she trusts him to take over her kids.
Yeah.
And then
she trusts Bear more. I feel
oh yeah, I mean she probably trusts Bear more. Also, I don't know if Bear ever tells her, but Wendy, the main daughter, like the pig girl, who's like the oldest of the mom, Amy, is. It's shown to us like in the last like 2 episodes is the sister of Bear, which is awesome.
The child actress that they had play Bear, perfect. I
mean
literally,
Wendy or Bear?
No, Bear. The kid, both. I mean, Bear and Wendy both play really well. But the flashback that they have, yeah, they did a perfect casting. Like she looked exact. I swear to God, I thought that they filmed it beforehand.
Really, that's cool. But no, it's so good. But like the finale is that like the general's army is a little shot. And I guess we didn't bring it up, but we have a little bit. He brings his warlords over to talk about this place called Eden, and it's like a well-reserved like community where like because the population the.
I don't think that's gonna come up again, or she's gonna take over. But it's really interesting because like this finale. Oh, and another B plot that's on the human side of things. The general's brother starts kind of not liking what he's doing, and he starts pulling away.
I like the character inside of it because he feels for the kids because he probably was the kids because he was getting not like in prison, but his dad was abusive and he was a soft kid.
Yeah.
And in a world like this, you can't be soft.
I love the scene where he's like, "Can you sing for me?"
In the helicopter,
and he could sing really well, actually. And I was shocked.
Super great.
He could sing so good.
The ending scene though, where he's like, "You can't do this anymore," and he's just scared. He cares for them, but he's also scared. And then he goes, "You can go." And
go ahead, let him go.
It felt like the Rick and Morty scene where he like is all happy and he starts to walk to the car.
Yeah,
and he just gets shot.
Dude, whenever they did that, I saw him pull the gun because you can see it in the clip, and I was like, "Oh no!"
I knew when he gave him the gun when they were back at the base
that it was gonna be unloaded. I knew too.
I felt it. I was happy.
He should have just kept his gun. He should have kept it because he definitely unloaded it.
Yeah.
But it was really good because like these two characters just bounced off of each other so well.
So they were such a good addition.
And it was sad seeing because like he kills his brother.
And then he says bury him at the end. Probably never got buried.
He said, he doesn't get buried, but he wanted his brother to be buried somewhere really nice. And it's interesting because we see this human who's been pushed, and he shows his conviction because he believes that humanity is greater than even his like brother.
Yeah.
And
his brother's also so far gone.
I like this idea that because through the whole thing we get these ideas of like Pandora's box.
Yeah, they say that. Yeah.
All of this stuff gets out, but the one thing that also left Pandora's box was hope.
Big time.
And I think that Gus is hope for the Pandora's box. Mm-hmm. And the 6, everything else.
I do think though, after that scene, they're kind of like rushing to the ending.
Yes.
Because it feels a little like...
They end up killing everybody really quick.
Yeah, also, like, the doctor... Not even Bear. The doctor, Big Man, and Gus kill soldiers.
Oh, just, like, left, right, and center.
Yeah, like, and I get they set traps and stuff, and I feel that it could be serious, but also, like, I don't feel like this hybrid kid could even take on, like, more than one guy. And
he ends up like knocking them out.
Not like was his. So I get it, but like I mean, for me, it felt like a little like face palmy, but like it still ended pretty well. And then
I like the fight scene where the general uses Big Man's knee against him.
Yeah, and then he also like hunts because he has like a mini fight with every single person.
And we find out that, like, Gus can control wildlife or something.
That's something they're probably going to step in the next season, but he can, like, talk to animals, too. That's why he takes over the general and hits him.
And then after that happens, he gets stampeded.
Yep.
And Gus gets shot with a crossbow.
Yep.
Which I thought was crazy.
Because they play it like he might die.
And Anna gets to talk to...
Amy.
Amy gets to talk to Wendy, and she ends up dying on the table, but she told her, anytime that you are feeling down or alone, you look up in the sky and Mama Bear's there.
It's super emotional because, like, these characters are, like, all great. Like, all these characters are, like, a solid
Every single one of them. I love it. This is one
all
of
the
the
main
first
characters.
shows. Yeah, main characters. I mean, some of the hybrid kids, obviously, but even they have their own little quirks.
I even like the general chick, like the little lieutenant he's got. But anyway, go ahead.
She got beat up by Bear.
She got whooped.
Dude, she literally reverse scorpion on the ground. But they did a very good job with all the choreographing and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was really cool getting to see these characters interact with each other. I did not think they were going to kill her off.
I thought, like, maybe they were going to get weakened a bit, and I thought the general was going to be fine. But obviously, they're setting up Mrs. Zhang. But, like, the ending, they do, like, the little fake-out death, I mean, funeral for the mom. But they were definitely like, oh, I wonder if you think Gus died.
Oh, yeah, I did. I thought they were going to be bold enough to kill Gus, and they're going to do a continuation.
Do a show off of, like, just the kids. Because, I mean, that's enough characters.
The moment that they, like... started going around and the kids were all crying, I was like, oh, Gus didn't die.
Yeah, because, like, the kids would have been sad, but, like, because, like, you see Jeb crying his eyes out, and you're like...
Yeah. I think he fell in love with her. I think he loved her.
No, I don't think he fell in love with her. I think he just found somebody who...
Or a good person.
A good person that just reflected on himself, somebody you can be vulnerable with. Because when you find somebody like that, you do... It's both respect and love. Maybe he did, like, love her in that way, but not, like, romantically.
I don't know, this season was really, really good. And we get the last bit where they're all like, we gotta go to Alaska and whatnot.
And we have to save his mom because he has, like, dreams. He also hallucinates dreams.
And so does the doctor. Yeah. And they all have dreams about each other, and they're all gonna go to Alaska.
Yep. And then also we see the ending with the villain set up. She's, like, cutting meat, and she's got hybrids.
She definitely has hybrid kids. There's no way.
It's gotta be.
It's gotta be like tiger or lion hybrid kids or something.
Very predator.
Yeah, they were eating raw meat.
And they're like, the general's dead. She's like, oh well, chopping the meat. Mm-hmm.
It's going to be really interesting seeing her, because she seems a lot more intimidated than the general.
She seems like, because she was probably like the main woman.
Yeah, she's like the warlord.
Mm-hmm,
now she is the only warlord.
She is the only warlord, yeah.
But I find it all very interesting, and I'm extremely excited for season 3.
Lots to look forward to. Do you think we're going to get it in the next year?
No, we'll probably get it next year.
2025?
Yeah.
I think that. I hope we get it. I just, like, I think it's going to do numbers and be fine, but, it would suck if Netflix just pops and pulls.
I doubt they will. Sweet Tooth seems to be a pretty big property. The problem with Netflix is they're always looking for, like, the next Stranger Things, and they really need to be looking for things that are just pulling any type of numbers.
Yeah, because, like,
they're falling behind.
I like Dark, and that was a great show.
Yeah.
Before
we sign off.
Yes.
We got a couple ideas kind of brewing. I was thinking maybe we could do...
we're going to talk to the comment section about this, yeah. So.
Yeah, I was thinking about maybe doing, like, Warm Bodies, like doing a review over that movie.
Oh, the Nicholas Hoult movie?
Yeah, the one where they're, like, the zombie romance movie.
Yep.
Or doing a romance movie episode, even. I'd be down to do. We could do Warm Bodies.
We could spin a wheel and be like, this is what we picked. I think it's smart.
We could also do, like, a zombies movie one and add Warm Bodies in there as a fun thing.
Mm-hmm.
But that's super fun. And then also, I was thinking maybe we could do a Total Drama Island episode.
Just like over the
whole thing.
We talked about like our favorite. Maybe we don't talk about it as like
No, we talk about like our favorite characters.
Well, maybe we don't talk about like an overview. We just say like we think about the fondness of the show and be like favorite characters. What was your favorite season? We just maybe we just discuss it and rather than like.
Barry is one we want to start watching.
Barry, we're gonna finish up BoJack, obviously.
And then, Donnie Darko. I don't know why I keep saying Danny. But Donnie Darko would be fun. We might do a keeping it short over that, or just a full-on
For most movies, we'll probably do keeping it short, but we'll just see.
Unless we do some more genre movie episodes, which I would love to do.
Yeah.
The new Kong Skull Island episode or TV show's out on Netflix.
It's pretty good, yeah.
But those are just a couple ideas that we've been thinking about doing.
But that's basically it. Hopefully you guys get interested enough, or if you've already seen it, you get to go back and rewatch Sweet Tooth. I really, really do recommend it.
Please at least go. And if you're going to watch it all the way through. Because Netflix, for some reason, does retention as a big thing.
What's that?
If you only watch half of it and you stop watching it, they'll count it as a flop. It won't be watched.
Really?
Technically. Yeah, the Netflix has got a really skewed.
Do they know? But what if I go back and watch it and then I go back and like, okay.
But if you guys, what you guys should do is definitely watch all the way through season 2.
Yeah, definitely.
If you haven't seen it before, beautifully shot show. The season 2 gets way prettier. They end up shooting some really, really good scenes in that.
The B-roll shots are crazy.
Oh, so good. Whenever Bear's
they got a budget for it, probably more.
Yeah, when Bear's on that bus and she's like looking out, but then she sits down, they frame her up in the bus. Super cool. Just like there are some really pretty shots in this show, dude.
Oh yeah, but yeah, thank you guys so much. We'll keep you posted on any more news.
Yes, we're gonna try to pump out a couple more episodes. We'll probably end up working on that next
we are
week.
trying to shoot to be what we said are like bi-weekly. Please bear with us if we aren't. It's a funny little thing, bear.
We haven't.
But we'll try to just stay consistent enough where like we can pop out something so you just feel like we're still alive. But yeah, well, thank you guys for enjoying the episode.
Follow us on Instagram,
Spotify, YouTube, depending on what you're listening to. TikTok, nah.
No.
Twitter, nah. Just Instagram.
He is Patreon. He was Cooper,
and he was Christian,
and we were the Real Deal Podcast.
Still are, man.
Oh, well, my outro doesn't work now.
Well, guess what?
What?
Goodbye.